Forget your Caro-Kann and Bong Cloud. This is a game of pirates, mummies, and Vikings. It's Dead Man's Chess. Hey friends, it's Matt with Bowls, and today we are taking a look at Dead Man's Chess by Spyglass Games, who are sponsoring this video. With Pandora's box open, the time-space continuum is collapsing in on itself. Different factions from all across space and time collide in a battle to control this ultimate power. Dead Man's Chess is currently live on Kickstarter, so be sure to check the link in the description for that. Dead Man's Chess is a competitive combat game which, as the name suggests, uses chess as the foundation for the mechanics. But this is far from a simple reskin of the ancient classic. In Dead Man's Chess, each player chooses a separate faction with unique characters, stats, faction ability, and a deck of special cards. This means each faction will have different tactics and strategy, not only based on themselves, but who else they are up against. The game itself comes with highly detailed 90mm minis for each of the 7 factions, although more factions are planned with the Kickstarter's stretch goals. Plus, Spyglass Games are offering special packages for miniatures arriving unpainted or as fully pre-painted versions. If you're familiar with chess, a lot of the basics of this will be familiar to you, with, of course, some tweaks. For example, the setup changes when playing with more than 2 players. Dead Man's Chess plays up to 4. And there's no castling or en passant, and unfortunately, no victory points for even knowing what en passant is. Each faction in Dead Man's Chess has their own versions of each piece: pawn, rook, bishop, and so on. For example, the crew faction doesn't have any pawns, they have pirates, and instead of queen and king, they have first mate and captain. Similarly, the undead have skeletons instead of pawns, mummies instead of rooks, ghosts and ghouls in the place of knights and bishops. You get the idea. While each piece moves the same as they would as their chess counterpart, Dead Man's Chess uses battlefield cards, which allow players to make multiple moves in a single turn, but we'll get to that in a minute. The objective of Dead Man's Chess is not to capture the king. In order to keep playtime tight and games fast-paced, each game is limited to 9 turns. Once the last aforementioned battlefield card is drawn, the game ends. Players score points based on the number of pieces that they still have remaining on the board, with each piece having its own victory point amount. Whichever player or team has the most victory points wins. At the start of each player's turn, they roll a die. Then they can choose, if they wish, to perform one of the 3 boost phase effects. They can use their unique faction ability, draw a boost card, or draw an epic act card. If the player wishes to use their faction ability, they simply read what it says and do those things. If the player wishes to draw a boost card, they take the result from the die that they rolled and add 1 for each piece that they have captured so far. If this total is 6 or greater, they can draw the boost card. A boost card is like a buff that will be applied to one of the unit types you control. However, if the player wishes to draw an epic act card, they again take the die that they rolled and add 1 for each captured piece, but here, the total must be 8 or greater. This allows them to draw the epic act card. Epic act cards are secret one-time effects that can be played at any time, even during another player's turn. These are very powerful abilities and can easily turn the tide of a game. After the boost phase is the battlefield phase, which makes up the bulk of the game. During the battlefield phase, the active player draws a battlefield card, then makes a normal move like they would in chess. But they can also use that battlefield card to make the move listed on the card as a bonus move, either before or after their normal move. Battlefield cards are not held between turns, so use it or lose it. But that's not all that differentiates Dead Man's Chess from your chaturangas. Rather than simply capturing an enemy piece upon landing on it, pieces must attack and defend against one another. When a piece attacks another, both players roll 2 dice and add the piece's attack value or defense value, depending on which side of the engagement that piece is on. The players compare their die result, and whichever piece's score is higher wins the engagement. If the defense value is greater or equal to the attack value, the defender wins and pulls a reverse Uno, capturing the attacker's piece. This just means that a single skeleton probably won't be able to take on Cthulhu all by themselves. If the attacker wins the engagement, the defender has one last chance to block the attack. The defender rolls one last die, and if the result is 6 or higher, they block the attack and survive. This block roll can often be modified by various boost cards and things like that. After the player makes their move, they discard their battlefield card that they drew and their turn ends. Each player has 9 battlefield cards at the start of the game, and once the last player discards their last battlefield card, the game ends. Players tally up their total victory points from all the pieces they have remaining on the board, and whichever player or team has the highest total wins. Dead Man's Chess takes a game everyone knows and adds some fun and inspired mechanics on top of it. With plenty of different factions to play as, Dead Man's Chess brings your typical game of chess into the modern gaming space with tons of replayability where no two games are the same. Dead Man's Chess is currently live on Kickstarter, so be sure to check out their campaign with a link in the video description. There, you'll also be able to find a link for their tabletop simulator module, so you can try the game out for yourself. Again, I am Matt with Bowls. Thanks for watching. Bye.